All right. Sorry. I guess I'm still getting it together here. Welcome to welcome to today's light stream message coming at you from the 5XL. Always exciting and always like, am I going to do this today? Yes, we're going to do this today. So, welcome and hope that you all are riding pretty high right now. Mental energies are up there high right now. If you're out in the streets, you're probably seeing a lot of crazy. So the reason for that is we just went through that Lionsgate portal. So what you ask for is right here. It's all here, and it's all like very much. I can't believe, is this even my life? Energy. Now, with saying that, there's always this ebb and flow with, what do I want and why can't I get to what I want? And if you think life just sort of flips a switch and suddenly everything's okay, that's not really how the game works, the gambit works. We're just jumping right into it. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow the 5XL and make sure that you show them some love if you're watching me here on Facebook. This stream will be available later, but again, take a minute to follow them. But yeah, getting right back into it. Manifestation and stuff, which I talk a lot about on this channel, and I am a channel for that divine message for manifestation. There is an ebb and flow. So what we want, it's not really like a light switch that just turns on. There's definitely a buildup or a catalyst, and 8-8, the Lions Gate that we just went through yesterday, is a huge catalyst for manifestation. It's a very powerful numerical day, 8 being the numerical representation of infiniteness and infinite having, of a multitude of expressions as far as being here in 3D reality. And it's very exciting to talk about because for people like myself who kind of can monitor what they're thinking about, it's a smorgasbord. Everything that I've been investing time, money, energy, spirit, and just wanting that forward momentum is being pushed through into the tangible reality that we're currently living in. So it would just stand to natural law and reason that if you are somebody who doesn't really focus on those things and you let your mind kind of go in other directions, i.e., poverty mindset, that feeling of deep depressing lack, nothing's happening for me. Why am I always alone? Why do I always have to live alone? And again, this portal that we're going through is going to give you an abundance. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's all the more reason, and it's not something that you missed. It happens every year. So just like chill out if you're like, oh no, I missed the boat. No, it happens every year, and it's always just a time to kind of to reset your framework to say, okay, well, I was trying to level up, and I did all this hard work, and then boom, 8-8 hits, and then you're like, oh shoot, I leveled up. I'm here. This is crazy. What is even life? Like, that's where we're at right now. For those of us who are, what I mean, really pushing, and for those of us that aren't, this is also that opportunity to pump the brakes and say, this isn't what I want. This isn't the business. I need to get out of this relationship. I need to get away from these people. I need to stop spending so much on this. I need to, you know what I mean? So it's like, let those be your driving desires. If you need a way out of discourse that's constantly keeping you, away from your authentic life that you want to be living, which is an abstract in and of itself, abundance. Again, just to kind of like put it into speakable words, abundance can be a lot of things for a lot of people. So I just wanted to open up with just this sort of celebratory welcome to the new world on fire. And It really is. Everywhere we look right now, things are burning. Ways of living are ending, and ways of doing things are going up in flames. And there's this. You see all the fire adjectives that I'm using, all this fire that's happening right now. Let it, let it. Let it burn. It has to. There has to be some kind of fuel that's going to be used to propel us into this next world, this new paradigm. And what it's going to look like is a much more personalized, space for yourself. Personal rights are about to undergo an evolution. And it's scary right now. And I know last time we were talking a lot about that Roe versus Wade being overturned, how terrifying that is. But here it is now, well, now it is just a state issue. And as much as I don't like using politics as sort of a way to communicate spiritual, happenings, if anything, that taught us to bring in our own awareness a little bit more and not follow so blindly into an establishment like government that's going to lead you down a road that is definitely not with your best interests at heart. A government can't be all-knowing to what your best interests are. So you really have to take this opportunity to put at the front, what are my best interests? If I'm gonna be living here in America, I need to live somewhere that has my best interests at heart. If I'm going to live somewhere that has my best interests at heart, it has to be somewhere where I can make an affordable living that's not going to cost me, 10 to 16 hours a day to live in that, free state or wherever, what have you. Again, why I don't like using politics, so I'm going to stop. Well, and even geopolitically, we're looking, China even is, their government's kind of, under this whole turmoil of the dream, being ripped out right from under them. Again, stop putting so much faith in establishment. Put more faith in yourself. That's borderline. Okay, yeah, I agree. But when we can say, I'm going to do my own thing for myself. I'm going to grow my own herbs. I'm going to invest in solar energy. I'm going to go off the grid. Really, it's that time. If you want to buy a van and go live in the mountains, you're in the perfect celestial climate for that. So, moving forward, I just wanted to, again, one more time, just say I'm so happy for this 8-8 energy that's in the air right now. Use it to your advantage. If anything that I've said in this past little 7-8 minutes of jargon, use this energy of fire and the world burning around you to your advantage. I am your Capricorn friend, and I am telling you here and now, there is building blocks. In Minecraft, when you destroy something and you get a block for it, it's very much that. Let it all be destroyed and go pick up what you can and turn it for profit. Anyways. So, again, yeah, so living in this world of fire, watching it burn, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. In nature, that's just the beginning of a cycle. So just like that energy and just like that fire is kind of, setting the field aflame, trust that tomorrow there's going to be all this newness around you. If you're not already seeing it, it's new around you. It's a new world. It's a new paradigm. So again, it's what are you feeding it? Where are your thoughts going? Make sure that you have a handle on where you're steering abundance. Because, again, abundance is not something that's just, shoes, cars, cash. It's abundance. It doesn't mean specifically a lot of everything. It means just a lot. You could be abundantly angry. You could be abundantly upset. You could be abundantly betrayed. I think I'm making my point here. So another thing, just to kind of go along with that, we're going to be checking ourselves and really with your communication with people. And again, this is just more fuel for the fire. Of just, I think this is more for people who are having a hard time with this manifesting thing. You have to check yourself. If you're hearing people around, if you're looking at everybody around you having good conversation and having a good time, and you're sitting there like, I have nothing to add to this, I don't belong around these people, check yourself. Because the universe tries to lift you up into the fullness of the presence that you've been wanting, and then when you're there, you're so used to being set back and pushed away and shut down and cut off from love that you only can operate from that mode. So again, check yourself. Are you communicating from trauma? Are you looking for other people to communicate in your trauma? Change the conversation. Talk about what's going right in your life. Seriously, solemnly swear to yourself, I will only hold conversation that adds to my own perception of my own life. It's powerful. It's groundbreaking. I'm only going to have a conversation that's going to make more and more establishment that I have it together. Does that mean that you're not slipping up, that you're not messing up? No, but it's paving the way for those good things to be more in your life. Make less room for the bullcrap. Make less room for the negativity within yourself. Make less room for excuses, biases. Make less room for it, because you have this life and you have to make the most of it. So allow what is good in. If that isn't the best way I could have phrased that, allow what is good in. And again, that's a pretty broad spectrum. That's putting it a little too finite, or in like generic. To put it more finite would be, I want more happiness. I want to feel like I belong. I want to have deeper conversations. I want, to go out to a lake and just hang out with friends. I want to get away from this poverty that I feel like I'm stuck in. I want to get away from the yelling of the neighbors or the yelling of my parents, or I want to get away from my siblings who are always, pushing me down. None of this is happening to me. I'm just throwing thoughts out there. Although I'm saying it's not happening to me now, it may have happened to me once or twice, and then I had convinced myself that it always happens to me. So again, don't let your trauma speak for you. Your trauma doesn't speak for you. You have to say, I have trauma, because we all have trauma. But I'm going to hold the space for healing from that trauma. And really, that space for healing is sacred. It's not something to just present on a platter. It's something that you will have to pick apart and slowly sew yourself back together at one point or another. And I'm available if anybody wants to private message me or has any thoughts that they want to share. I ain't made it yet, so I'm available to talk about this stuff if you want to talk about it. So yeah, just again, in juxtaposition to that, when you're telling it like it is, you can just remember your humility. And if you're communicating from trauma and it's your ego pushing it, well, they don't understand me, and unless I tell them everything I've gone through, then they're not going to understand me. check yourself. The best way to do that is to imagine how ridiculous you must sound. Because everybody that we come across or share space with, and this isn't to say that, you can't confide in people and you can't, talk to people about your things that you have going on, but there comes a time where it's all you're talking about, where it's all they're hearing is that you're having a hard time. You get what I'm saying? So it's try to bring it back and think to yourself, have a conversation and dialogue within. How do I sound right now? How long has it been, and I honestly ask this question, how long has it been since you've talked about your progress? How long has it been since you've talked about your motivations, your dreams, your desires, what makes you happy? How long has it been since you haven't talked about the price of gas, the state of the government, this and that and the other, the third, that's just keeping you from doing this and that? How long has it been since that hasn't been the narrative for you? Honestly. Humility. And that's how you get back in touch with that goodness. And that's how you get back in touch with that. Had to do a little sound check there for a minute. So that moves into how do we do that? And what are we doing it for? So again, things take practice. And you can practice this. And again, I'm in a conversation right now that's more for people who are stuck in that poverty mindset. And I guess Spirit is just having me put this out there today. If you're stuck in the field of lack and poverty, I guess this is what is happening today. Because you really need to just pour gasoline on it and let it burn. And guess what? You get to do that over and over and over and over till your fingers are scarred and your eyebrows are gone. Keep burning that pile until it's gone. Until you can only hold a space for yourself that's for healing and positivity. You're only going to be opening up a place in your life for everything you don't have. So, get on it today. Because as we practice every day, holding these spaces for ourselves, it can seem like we're doing something that's insane. When you're ready to lash out and talk about how bad your day was, and then you stop and you say, "Oh, I really want to talk about how bad my day was, but I'm gonna hold a space today." Like, you feel insane. Because it's going right against what you've practiced for so long that it's gonna feel weird for a while. But you can do it, and the practice, the repetition of these positive habits it becomes a revolution that you have internally, that you're overthrowing your own conscious beliefs that you've tied yourself down with, these contracts that you've signed, these obligations that you've put forth for yourself that say, I'm going to be here and I'm just going to suffer every day because you know what? That's what Jesus would do. Well, you're not Jesus. We weren't made to go through this life and suffer and suffer and suffer. Especially not now. Not in today's world. Today's world is definitely not the place that was established through suffering, for suffering. We have a lot of... It is so chill in this current collective reality compared to the suffering that it's built upon. I don't know, that's kind of getting maybe a little too deep for some people, but yes, I'm going to say that one more time for clarity. The establishment today and the current climate is very kickback when compared to actual suffering that it was built upon, i.e., slavery, misogynism. I mean, women back then were, had your mouths clamped closed, your tongues held out to dry for speaking your mind. Gay men stoned to death, and still are today. And that's not to say that it's not happening, but again, in your current reality, if you have access to the internet and you're watching on your little device, you got a lot more going for yourself than you give yourself credit for. So just, again, humble yourself. Humility. I have abundance of humility and health and wellness. I have an abundance of, money. I have abundance of, love. Start specifying, and start living through those channels. Find people who love you abundantly. Don't spend your money frivolously, and you'll find the money to be in abundance. Look over all your bills. You'll find it. And it's there abundantly. I make so much money, it's stupid. But some months I'm like, where did all my money go? And then I look at my statements, and there it is. It's that vegan such and such, and dining out with friends, and I bought a video game, and I'm like, oh. So it's not that I'm lacking, it's just I'm making poor choices and suffering those consequences. Whoa. Color me surprised. Whoa. So again, it's really our decision where our mind resides is really the point that I'm getting across here. And what we do repetitively that will make us live in this I have or I don't have mindset. So again, to just put it out there, abundance is a lens, and it's relative to everyone. And what abundance is for me may not be abundance for you. Abundance may not even be something you can touch. Abundance for somebody might be free time that they don't have. The time to sit down and, do a hobby because they are, responsible for several other mouths to feed. And if you're one of those several other mouths, then do something for that person to have some time. Even an hour, a day, a week to kind of just do what's not just productive, just what's fun for them. So we can all, like on Saturday, like I leave my boyfriend alone. All day long, I try not to call. Just so we can have a day where it's just him in his own world, because he went from living like his own life to now he's fully employed. It's a blessing, but again, I take 4 days a week off to kind of do what I love to do. But when I'm there at work, I'm giving my 110%. 13, 14 hours a day. So, just another little inclination here that we can do for one another is start the conversation. Talk to somebody about, what are we, especially if you're in a relationship right now, or if you're living with roommates right now, start the conversation. What are we doing for our happiness this week? They'll look at you like, what? But be honest and earnest. What are we doing for our happiness this week? Are we going to go have a meal together? Are we going to go to the park somewhere? Are we going to, are we going to sit and draw and color and smoke pot? Have beers and listen to music? I don't care. What are we doing for us this week? Find it. Is it golfing? Go find that moment, so that you're not living in this modern day slavery, in this new world that is burning. Instead, use the world that is burning as your excuse to go out and do something for yourself. I'm so serious. I don't know why I'm laughing because I'm so serious. Go out and do something that you want to do, not that you have to do. This 8-8 energy has got us all tripping, I guess. I don't know. Moving on to the celestial energies for the week. Just going to run through them. Starting today, we are going through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of balancing happening. There's on the one hand, emotional confusion, the restlessness of the mind, and the possibility to go overboard. All in the air. So again, yes, go out and explore and do that, but again, don't overdo it to the point where you're in trouble later. So again, it's that's why I say start the conversation, because I have booked entire vacations without consulting my partner that have left us in debt and we're mediocre. Like it happens, you know. Where when I plan something with him and we discuss like who's paying for what and we have everything like collaboratively drawn out, it's just always a far better experience. It doesn't matter whether we're going out to a restaurant for the evening or if we're going out with friends or if we are taking like a day trip somewhere. Always 100% plays out better when we sit there and plan out accordingly who's doing what, who's paying for what. So on the very opposite of that, though, we're going to be feeling lighthearted. And there is room in the air, as I've been saying. There's room in the air for good communication right now. Our tongues right now are also on fire. So just go ahead and let it go. Let it burn. You got something to get off your chest? Then right now your partner is going to be the most receptive they've been in a while to that conversation. So put it out there, you know. But again, don't use it to just your advantage. Use it to open up a real dialogue on how do we rise above this together. You know, put the toilet paper on the roll. Okay, every time I do it. Every time I do it, it's not on the roll. You know what I mean? So it's like little stuff like that. My thing right now is I have to go make a whole new pot of rice. I made a pot of rice. It's now gone bad. But apparently I wasn't making enough rice. So I'm going to have rice ready. I'm dating a Filipino. And the only rice that I ever made as a Mexican is Spanish rice. I don't just make white rice. So again, but we've had this conversation. I can do that. Because I do most of the cooking. It's not hard for me to make my Filipino boyfriend some rice to have when he wants to have it. Because who would want to have white rice? I don't know. That's me as a Mexican trying to think about it. Anyways, working hard, over, done, canceled. We talked a little bit about this, that it was coming to an end last week. Let go of the mindset that you must be working hard in order to show that you've done something. We don't live in that world anymore. You know, there's not this huge task to be done every day. And I do very physically demanding work. And I don't even consider it to be work. You know. So if you got to move, like, if you're busting your butt at, like, a warehouse distribution or you're moving pallets all day, it's what you do. So really try to make peace with that. And if you really mourn going to work every day, then again, that goes more into make the room for what's good in your life. That makes lifting those pallets or, you know, doing that hard labor worth it to you. Again, just opening up the conversation because Spirit said somebody had to hear it. Material challenges, that's over. The playing field is what it is now. The housing market is a joke. Politics are a joke. but we're living in it. So we got to make peace with it. And we got to figure out how do we interface with it now. So, how? And again, just opening up the dialogue there. Moon transits for the day are pretty like stable. As of this morning, deep feelings, enhanced creativity, sentimental feelings, emotional control. Like we pretty much kicked butt today. And me and you. So this is all relationship driven. This is our moon, our feminine within, having all this flow. And I love it. So things that are coming up, we're going to be purifying intellectually. Which reminds me that I have to do this test. Lucky for me, it's an open book test. So I'm not too worried about that. It just has to get done. Current planets are Mars and Taurus. So again, we're still finicking with moving energy in our home. If you've been doing home renovations, if you've been moving stuff around, that's still going to be happening for the next 2 weeks. Venus is in Cancer, which ends on Thursday. So our relationships to and from each other are still very much deep-welled in emotional roots. So just be aware of that. And don't try to hurt nobody's feelings when you're talking to them. And if you do have a silver tongue, it's going to be all the more sharp. So just, again, just be prepared to have to water yourself down a little bit. Just a little bit. Especially if you're dating a water sign. Just a little bit of, it's okay, I understand. No shade to my Cancers, my Scorpios. What's the other water sign? Cancer, Scorpio. Oh my gosh, hold on, give me a minute. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry I cracked myself up. I'm the only one here. Leo energy. Mercury, the sun is in Leo, so we'll be burning for another 2 weeks. So again, just let that energy of the sun, like that Leo energy, is purely life-giving, and like I said, it's washing over all of us right now. So make yourself what's important to you, and are your needs being met? And if they're not, then again, open that dialogue. If they are, great. Then give kudos where they're due. That's the best way to kind of open up those gates, like I was talking about earlier, is gratitude. So, if somebody's been doing right by you, let them know. I tell my partner all the time, I'm so proud of you for everything that you were doing and kicking butt, and, it's awesome. So, these retrogrades that we're in right now are Pluto and Capricorn. Again, that's just more of the motif of the death of the hard work, the old karmic cycle being done with. We're now in that fiery rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes, if you will. So just, again, let yourself rise up once more. Saturn in Aquarius. This is actually pretty interesting because it's like karmic cycle returns, but of like a higher scholarly thing. So it's like learning nuances to handle the world around you, bringing on new like scholastic discipline. Oh yeah, I have to study, like that kind of stuff. So again, and then what's also coming is this full moon in Aquarius. It's exciting stuff, reclaiming our authority, and just taking charge with the new moon in Virgo. All right, you guys, I'm going to move into the card for the day, which I already pulled over here. And Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. So again, if anything, this whole stream, kind of the redux has been, or the breakdown is just sort of feel that fire. And we feel a lot of fire when we're in the throes of passion, making love, and try to bring some of that energy, not in a creepy way, but bringing some of that energy into the way that you're interfacing with the world, like that very high charisma. Bring that, every day. And trust me, there's nothing that you can't, claim and set up for yourself if you're not already doing that. And if you are, then kudos to you. But we see this woman, and she's just very calm, serene at this lakeside. And she's found this space where she can just let nature in. She can let her nature in. This is who I truly am when I'm here. I want to come to this place more. Because this is what life can be. And I'm so happy that I'm here. Do you feel that? Do you feel that with her? And this is the part where I go quiet. And I'm going to let you draw your own spirit message from this card. So just kind of take a look here and kind of find your own meaning. What is this card saying to you? You guys, it's been a beautiful few days. This Lionsgate energy is going to be pervading through the rest of the week. So again, you haven't missed out on anything. Tonight's better night than any to write down your ideas and say, this is my next step. I have great news. I have this invention that I have, and I've not talked about it. I started working on it in 2013, and I'm speaking it here now, and I'm going to be talking to people personally, and as I get more and more of a ground foundation of just people interested in what this is and what it's for, I will be sharing it here as well. And so more on that soon, and looking forward to sharing more of that journey, because I've kind of been walking it by myself for so many years. So again, just got to congratulate myself where it's due. And anybody watching this, I applaud anything that you've been, working on, that you've been putting out effort that nobody's been seeing. I see you, and I'm applauding it right now. Like, you're doing great. So keep going. The world needs it. All right, you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll check you guys next time.